students are all over the place. They're coming in with different ideas, different exposures, and if we could give them a really rich experience in preparation for teaching, and then they may identify something that they really want to be good at and strong at. If we could help them really develop those skills even further, I think that would be fabulous.
And our students, when they come in, they don't feel that they belong always. I think that that's a common experience. I'm not saying that our students don't feel like they belong. I'm saying people don't feel like they belong, and until we really invite them in. And so I like this idea of really leaning into a sense of belonging with our students.
I think that also our purpose today is to look at our own roots and our own thinking as far as our conceptual framework is concerned. We wrote that conceptual framework a long time ago, and we updated it probably about 10 years ago. And there are different people around the table, and we all are really excited to think together again.
More than a glimpse of what the philosophical framework is, vision and mission, how these statements have been developed over the years, and how these statements and beliefs and values have evolved over time as the administration changes.
We were talking about getting back to our roots, right, our origins. But we had started out as discussing who we are, our varying identities, the intersectionalities. What if the historical roots don't represent who we are? Because when we think about the origins of the 4 subject areas, psychology, sociology, history, philosophy, whose roots are we inheriting? And do they only represent white males? We might need to examine the origins of those roots, because if that's the foundation of our philosophy, might it be taking us down a road we didn't intend for a changing demographic of our students and who we are?
We're so diverse, not just in gender or race. Right? We've got our areas of expertise do not overlap. People that I had a hard time dealing with when I was new here are now close colleagues, and we can talk. I can talk to Althea about my identity as a white male in her eyes.
The people we work with are great. Everybody works really hard. Everyone's very dedicated. We have a common vision about what students need. We have similar goals and values, and that's extremely important.
And frankly, having such a strong collaboration, but also having strong collaboration in the present context when we're talking about our conceptual framework, I sense a lot of trust in the room.
Who are we looking at setting our conceptual framework for? It's not just for the faculty and our students that we're serving, but it's going to be for our community that our pre-service teachers are then going to go out and teach to and educate to and help inform to bring in that whole social emotional learning and the conceptions of bringing in personal social responsibilities and getting them into that whole citizenship from when they're in kindergarten until they are our senior faculty members that we were talking about.
My sense of belonging has grown since I've been here, but now I see my role as how do I make Latinx students feel a sense of belonging at Berea? What is it that I bring to the table that will allow them to feel more at home at Berea College and in the area in general?
In the scratch line, Dr. Proctor says that there's a scratch line, theoretically speaking, and you have this place where individuals start, there are some above, there are some below. But we all start at this scratch line. And based on whether you've grown into assets, you might start above. If you're beginning in a place of deficits, you might start below. But he says that our goal is that to bring everyone up to the scratch line, so this whole notion of equity and equality, so everyone starts at the same place to be able to move forward for successful engagement, successful opportunities. The scratch line just became my theoretical and philosophical framework. what are we doing to move populations to a point where we can all move beyond the scratch line, that starting place, that ground zero, that baseline place, to move to areas of success? But we know that everyone starts at a different place.
The scratch line to me means, in some sense, accomplishments. We can't allow that scratch line to be defined by somebody else.
Being a white baby boomer, male, cisgender, but having been born into a family for whom integrity and equity and social justice were critical. I grew up in poverty, essentially. But we had education, we had culture, and so I think I've got a very different perspective on scratch line than others.
I wanted people from my community to surpass their scratch lines. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to become an educator, to bring them up with me.
And our students, when they come in, they don't feel that they belong always. I think that you can't just ask someone to join you. You have to make them know that you want them. So you don't say, hey, can you stop by my office? It's like, I've really been dying to talk to you lately. Will you stop by and see me because I want to catch up with you? And really make them feel like, oh, it's not just that I'm invited, it's that I'm wanted. And so I would love to see that be part of what we can accomplish with our students.
From the very, very beginning, there was like this zeitgeist that took over the experience for me, saying that, these folks really want to engage at a very deep level. So I went into it feeling that I didn't have to work as hard to get the folks up to speed to think about what it meant to engage in a 2-day process to develop a philosophical framework. And a philosophical framework that foregrounded diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. So from the very, very beginning, I got this feeling from them that they were about the work, they wanted to do it, and that we could move forward and do some successful things, and we did that.